Good morning, good morning. It's happy Thursday, the last day of Passover. Thursday. I'm sitting in my home office and I have the windows open, so it feels like I'm outside because I can hear the birds, I can hear nature, and the cool breeze just comes in, so it's very zen. I have my candle going. I love aromatherapy. And put your comments. I like to hear from you. It fills my heart. So, I'm going to start with a quote, and I'm going to end with a quote. It's my morning coffee chat, but I'm having tea because I've already had my coffee. One of my friends messaged me. She got my coffee samples, and she's having her keto coffee. I'm having my keto chai tea. And I'm going to start with a quote. So this is what I was doing my self-development this morning because I have a big day ahead of us. I've got to take my sister in for a blood transfusion because her hemoglobin is low. And so the self-development really helps in making decisions that are going to be best. And it's God's guidance. Hi Lorena, how are you this morning? So spiritual guidance is like being infused with the supernatural power. When I took on this task, I didn't know what I was getting into, but I knew that I needed to do my mom's due diligence, and this is what I do. So the first quote I'm going to start with is, "You think in secret and it comes to pass. Environment is but a looking glass," by James Allen. So our lives are a reflection of what we are thinking. So what we think about is what we live about, basically. And I was listening to a video this morning about how to lead when you're not in charge. And it reminds me of leadership, and when I used to work with a wonderful group of volunteers, and they called me their fearless leader. And the very first time they put me in charge, I wasn't ready for it. But they said, "You're in charge and you have to lead these people." Good morning, Richard. You have to lead these people. And so I was put in a spot where I had to exercise leadership. And I wasn't ready to be in charge. I didn't believe in myself as a leader. And so the first thing is I had to have the courage, because I didn't want to admit that. It was part of my job. I was being asked to do it. So I had to think about the work. And I had to keep the work at center. Like, what was expected of me? How was I going to do this? I had to keep the values of being driven. So what were the values? What was the mission we were trying to accomplish for that day, that week? And what was obvious about it? And I had to communicate. And number 4 was I had to communicate the big and the little, and I was being trusted with the little. And it reminded me of what my grandma used to tell me. God trusts you with the little things so you can learn to grow on to have bigger things. And so when it's something even so little that you're being asked to do, you do it and you're all in, because there's a purpose behind it. There's a purpose, and it's part of your journey. It's part of your sense of lifestyle. And then there's going to be a story that you can share with others behind it. That story that's going to be inspiring to someone else. And you have to hold steady while you're leveraging all this. So, going back to caregiving, it landed on my lap, and I had to learn to make decisions for someone who can't make a decision for themselves when they became ill. Because caregiving for someone is really different than being a parent, because when you're a parent, you're in control. But when you're caregiving for someone, it's really different, because you have to let them have control of their life too. So that's where that spiritual guidance comes in, and that spiritual guidance is what has led me on my journey of making decisions for someone else. And it is tough. It's something that weighs on your shoulders. But all you can do is trust and believe in that positivity. So, I jump on here frequently to share inspiration and positivity with you all. And I may not always feel inspired and positive. Yesterday I had a day where I probably slept for 12 hours because I was so tired. And I didn't understand why I was so tired. But then as I talked to my best friend, she says, you have a lot of demands. It's okay that you need to sleep and rest it off. You should give yourself some credit. And I think I've always been that way. It's just I want to give more and more and do more. And so I'm pretty normal. I'm very, very human. I was raised to be positive, taught to be positive, always look at the positive side of things. And so when I'm here, you feel my heart. When I'm here and I share these things with you, you feel you feel my heart with love and good vibes. And I like the good vibes. Let me catch my breath. I've been listening also to asking how are people handling this quarantine. Well, this quarantine, you can look at things in a positive way or not. And so, for me, it hasn't been too much of a change like it was back in August when I got fired from my job. But when I started off with that quote, environment is but a looking glass, I had a self-talk that I was telling myself as if I was already living it. I was already living it in my mind, working from my home. I have this extra bedroom. I created this home office. I get up, get dressed, and just walk over from my bedroom next door to my office, which is a really great lifestyle. But also, I get to do the things I love to do. Talk to my family and friends. Be active. Go for walks. Eat healthy. Read, learn, teach, inspire. But in the beginning, when I was fired from my job, I had to learn to trust that this was God's plan, because it wasn't my plan. It was my plan to grow my business and to gradually, as I had doubled my income, to leave my job and grow into my business even more. But God's plan was different, and He provided, and here I am. And getting back into some of the greatest myths of leadership is that you must be in charge to lead. People think that you must be in charge to lead, but people learn to unleash their influence when others believe in them. And so that's one of the things that helped me when I came into this industry, is that my mentors have always told me, I believe in you until you believe in yourself. I know you can do this. I know you're capable, you're brilliant. I believe in you until you believe in yourself. You can borrow my belief in you until you believe in yourself. Well, when I first heard that, I thought it was a little odd. But they were absolutely right. You are the only one that can change your life when you learn how to think and not what to think. Because often we think about around the circumstances that we hear, what we're here, what we're listening to. But when we learn to think from following our instincts, that's when you start to change your life. You see, we all have instincts, and that's God's way of leading us. It is the discipline of the little things, going back to the discipline of the little things that are incredibly significant. Something as simple as, when you're really young and you get your first car, and it's not your dream car, but it's a car that your parents gave you, and it's manageable for you, and little things like keeping it clean, keeping it full of gas, maintaining it. Those are the little things so that you can grow onto a bigger thing of a car that's really your style. So, those are the little things that show the ability to approve of God or disapprove of Him with the things that He gives us. So, but we must be intentional about those things. Be all in when you make a decision to do. Hi, Julian. How are you? Hi, Oliveth. How are you? So we must continue to lead by example and share what I must continue to lead by example, and I'm going to have you hold me accountable to this and share what I've learned with you, because it makes a difference in your life as well as mine. I'm going to leave you with a scripture, and it's Proverbs 17:22. A cheerful heart is good medicine. So what does that mean? Gratitude is what helps us stay in peace. Having gratitude of a daily journal. Like, I have a journal that I've been doing for the past few years, and each morning my goal is to write down 3 things I'm grateful for. Well, it usually ends up being a long list because there's so many things to be grateful for. Warm water, food. If we happen to still be working during this time, our jobs, so many things, family, love, good health. Because, like I started this in the beginning, you think in secret, that's journaling, because that's journal between you, yourself, and God. And it comes to pass, but environment is our looking glass. So what we're thinking about, what we're being grateful about, is the reflection of what is coming into our lives. So, a cheerful heart is good medicine. It helps us stay in peace and confidence in the fact that things are always working out, even during tribulation. Things are always working out. So, I'm so grateful for you all. Thank you for spending some of your time with me on my lives. I'm off to get my busy day started. And I will see you all back here on another day. Hi, Laura. How are you? Running wild, running off to work, I'm sure. Or are you working using technology? So, you think in secret and it comes to pass. Environment is but a looking glass by James Allen. lives are a reflection of what we are thinking.